than you're thinking. You're more loved than you're thinking. You're more community than you think. On your way to work, just sit and sing toward someone who is not allowed to sing at work. Who is not allowed to sing at work, maybe you. But almost every sweatshop folks aren't allowed to sing or talk at work. So sing or say something that you know will reach across the world to China or Bangladesh or Vietnam. So who's ever making our clothes 12 or 13 or 14 hours a day, or maybe when the Christmas rush starts up in September, making clothes for December, and so September, October, November, sometimes they can move them up to 16 hours a day, 6 or 7 days a week. Folks don't get to be with their friends, but nobody can stop your beautiful heart from dreaming about who you love as you're sewing these clothes for us. Nobody could stop you, no one can stop you from dreaming of who you love as you sew these clothes in China and Bangladesh for all of us. But it's made in El Salvador from U.S. components, but it's cheaper to sew. Look at all the carbon footprint as you assemble things to the cheapest possible places, back and forth, shipping container. Here we are in the summer, so luckily, so you can grow like really nice thing. Although it's dry, please rain, because it's been good for strawberries, but most everything just needs more and more rain. But not the big carbon footprint. I mean, I don't begrudge the folks I know that go and eat out, but I don't really eat out because this way the money can go to art supplies. But locally, and you can trade art for vegetables. We got farmers markets all over the place, and people are up for barter more than they realize, more than you'd ever guess. Just because and a lot of people I've bartered with, they'd never bartered before, and I've even bartered for lawyer and car, or dental work, bartered for just for lots of, unimaginable, and unimaginable. So imagine all the things that you are, that you can trade what you do for things that you need. Maybe you're an intuitive masseuse, maybe you're a part-time moose, maybe you're made of bits of juice that folks would love to nibble on. How do you nibble on juice? Isn't it liquid? Well, if you take each drop so sacredly, then you're nibbling on juice, and there's room for everyone to go. Now you're nibbling on juice. Maybe it's the folks up at 14 Miles Street in Greenfield at Jam 1. But it's spelled like Jame, like I love, but without the apostrophe and a U in the middle. So Jaume 1. And the folks who are going to be performing on the last day, I think the 31st of August, the last day of the pop-up, are folks who started it in Barcelona. And so when Matt was there, and went back, they just were back there, him and Ted and Olivia went there in April, and just sending miracle, healing, good energy, because they went also on the trip to Reykjavik, where the Imagine Peace Tower is. They couldn't afford to go take the boat to visit the Imagine Peace Tower, but you visit it with your heart. And they were in Brussels, where the heartbreaking folks being killed there recently, and then they're in Paris, people killed there recently, but that's like the war being brought home as opposed to being kept forever out of our sight lines. The more that, if every parent taught their kid, whenever we hear of somebody dying, it's like we just stop what we're doing and we just go, all right, let's try and feel for their family and their friends and their best friends and their mom and their dad, because no mother ever wants to lose their kid to war. And you see documentaries where people, when they're 80s and 90s, some nice stuff I've seen on PBS where, heartbreaking, like the people that were supposed to be part of, on June 6th, 44 D-Day, the folks who were in the first wave, who was it who so severely broke his leg he couldn't be part. He was doing paratrooping exercises to how to land. It might have been Jerry Orbach, who got the Tony for Promises, Promises, and was the first lead. And I never saw it. I never saw Promises, Promises either. But I should ask my mom. And then he was like Lenny Briscoe. He was Detective Lenny Briscoe for like 10, 11, 12 years. And I hardly ever watched it, but he was so wonderful. And he was the nicest person in the world to me. Like, I once, because I'd be doing out, it's The Living the last 18 years, so 13 years in a row I was doing painting on the streets of Manhattan. And I went into this copy shop to just do some work and jam out, make some copies. And I guess I got in there. I was in there for maybe the longest time, at least a half an hour probably. And by the time I came out, they had set up a shooting, because if you talk to anybody in New York, they're always in Manhattan shooting something for some show. It's kind of like Baywatch in Santa Monica or something. So they're always shooting something in New York. And so I was trapped. But once I saw Jerry Orbach, then I'm like, oh God, I got to go find some. I think I had some music, but I had to find art to go through and look through and find, and maybe have them pick and whatever. And I was totally taking up time, and they're on the shooting schedule. And he was such a sweetie because of the weight that he carried at the shoot, that he was so kind to me and was such a sweetie. And he was like fending off the other folks, who were definitely like, when is this hippie going to get the hell out of here so we can go shoot whatever the scene was. All right, wait, I'm going to be quiet. Wait, I'm going to go back to the 1 minute ones here. Hold on.